Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today is day 6 of my road to 2300, and today is kind of a different video. Today I just finished a tournament, a rapid tournament. The time control was 15 plus 10. There were 7 rounds and it was a team tournament, it wasn't rated. Yeah, and it was like a physical tournament held by our school, and we invited other schools, and overall we came out at the sixth place, I think. Yeah, we came out top six out of let me quickly check the tournament details. If I can just quickly do that. Out of 27 teams. Yeah, out of 27 teams, our team came out sixth, and yeah, so it wasn't a great result. It wasn't too bad either, and it's one of like my very first actually over the board tournaments, and so I want to just review my games. So I ended with a score of 3 wins and 4 losses, so 3 points. Definitely not spectacular. I actually won more with the black pieces compared to the white pieces. So yeah, it's definitely something I might have to improve on. Like especially the end games. I think I lost a very crushing end game from a simple blunder. Most of my games ended with a single blunder, but it happened when I had a lot of time on the clock. So that's something I really had to manage. Yeah, but let's dive into the games. The first game I played against. I'm not sure if I should include their names because I'm not sure if they're okay with their names. But I guess since this tournament can be accessed on like chess results, it should be okay. Yeah. Maybe I'll hide the names. Okay, but for now, we'll just review the game. So this is the first round. So I think we were playing against a weaker team, and my opponent played against had to deal with my 1b3 opening. Sorry, let me just switch to my headset. Okay. Yeah, so 1b3, I played my classic 1b3 with white. If you guys don't know, I exclusively play 1b3 with white. And I haven't studied the theory for it much, but I think I've have a lot of experience playing the system. It's like one of those system type openings. And I get away with like not studying much theory, but in this tournament, I got a really good positions each time, but ultimately I just blundered something. I blundered my rook twice. I'll show it to y'all later, and it's also a chance for me to review the game myself. So, yeah. So this one he plays into one of my highest win rate lines actually. Is the line where they play d4, d5, and e5. So as you can see, I play e3. This is all theory so far. Um, the idea is that we want to open up the e3 for our bishop to go to b5 and pin the knight, and this just falls right into that. And over here, we're already threatening to take the pawn on e5 because the knight is currently pinned and it's the only defender of the e5 pawn. So our opponent played bishop d6, went f4, and over here the usual main replies are either f6, or queen h4, or yeah, one of those two, or combination of those two. Usually is okay for black. They take. I'm just gonna show if they take is very bad because we can just take. They check, we go king f1. They take, we take back because they're threatening checkmate in one. If we have no rush to take the rook, it's currently trapped, and they can try something like this. I usually play knight f3. Usually they try to bring out another piece. Usually, I guess the most troublesome move, yeah, they have to drop the queen back first. Sorry, I completely lost track of that. Yeah, so usually something like takes is interesting, but usually they drop back. I'll just take my piece now. And if they castle, you want to bring it out ASAP if they try to seal it in. Yeah, it's just completely winning for white. It's very tough for black to defend this. I still lose a few games because it's very sharp and our king hasn't castled, but that's in blitz. I think in a longer time format you should be able to try to reduce your opponent's counterplay a bit. Yeah, so over here my opponent instantly blundered the pawn. We just we just win the pawn on e5. He went bishop e7. I played knight f3, and he played this really weird move, f6, and that's when I knew like my opponent probably wasn't very strong, because this move is it just violates everything. You want to move, you want to develop your knight, you want to get castle, and pushing here when your king is not castle, it really weakens your king side safety. If you have a castle here, I mean, and the worst part is I don't have to take. I mean, if I take, I just help his development. So in the game, I play castles, and so I mean, his king side is compromised, so he decides to castle queen side. And I thought, you know what, that looks very weird. So I'm gonna play. In the game, I was thinking, if I play knight d4, if he takes, I can take this bishop and reveal attack on the e5 pawn, and when they recapture, I can take. So that's what I saw. That's why I played knight d4 in the game, and you see, it was the best move. And in this position, I'm threatening some ideas. I'm threatening to play e6 when the queen goes to d6. I was thinking of playing I can actually play bishop a3 straight away, and if they try to go here, they actually get their queen trapped, which is a very nice, very nice idea. I saw bishop a3, but I saw the queen can get to e5, and I stopped calculating. I thought I couldn't trap the queen, but simple rook f5, because the knight protects the rook, and we will have won a queen. So instead, what happened in the game was castle. I played a4, and I kid you not. Oh no, I didn't play a4. Sorry. Yeah. I played e6. That was the whole idea, and then I played a4. And I kid you not, what happened in this game next shocked me. Like instead of like moving his king or like getting his rook, getting his knight out, he played the move g6. And I was like, okay, bishop a3, queen e5. Maybe he saw rook f5. Maybe that's why I played it actually, now that I think about it. So maybe he saw bishop a3, rook f5, so he tried to stop it. Understandable. I developed my knight, and then he played the move f5, and like at this point, like warning signal should go off. The bishop's diagonal is fully unobstructed by any piece, and there's like a big x-ray on this rook, and if possible, I want to open up that bishop and get me a free rook. So in the game, I played the move knight b5. It's hitting the queen, and the queen has very few squares left, so my opponent decided to just take the knight. But when I take this, I hit the queen and I hit the rook. So my opponent went queen a6, I think, worried about knight takes a7, but he should have probably just taken the pawn. So I took the rook, he went here, I took, and here I had a choice to move my rook to b1 or c1. And I thought, if I played rook c1, it's very likely they'll kick it away. I'll kick my knight away, I drop back, and there's nothing wrong with both. I'm completely winning at this point. But what was going through my mind was, okay, I was instinctively gonna play rook c1, but I thought, you know what, maybe my rook belongs on b1 better, because once he shuffles his king, then my rook will stare directly at it. Yeah. So in the game, I play rook b1. He went king b8, which is kind of what I expected. Like, he has no moves, kind of. So I played the move c4. I want to open up the b file. If he took, I'll take back. He said he took the pawn on e6 and queen c2. So if it ever does open up, I can hit the pawn on c7. And he played the move d4. I I just screw capture the pawn. When he checks, I take back the bishop, rook takes d4. And I play this move queen c3, hitting the rook. And if he moves the rook, I can actually threaten queen h8 checkmate, a back rank checkmate. Defends the rook, and I move my rook from b1 to e1, threatening another back rank checkmate. So now he defends his back rank, and I check anyways because I wanted to give this pin. And as you can see, black is basically out of moves. If he doesn't have f4, I'm gonna steamroll him at this point. And there's something the engine is suggesting actually, f4. I didn't see this. What would I have played? Wow, I'm not sure. But yeah, his only chance to continue surviving was probably f4. And he didn't play that, instead he played the move b6, getting rid of the pin. But now I played the move rook e7. Maybe not the best move. Engine likes rook e6. But I played the move rook e7, pinning this pawn to the king. And my idea was if they took the pawn on d2, let's say this happens, I would just take, and the queen is overloaded at this point, and he probably has to capture back the queen, and then I'll take this rook, and it'll be a simple conversion at this point. So that's why I played rook e7. So my opponent tried a cheeky one move threat, checkmate. It's not even really checkmate because I can like escape a bit, but no point to allow it. I played g3, he moves his rook back, and now I just played the haymaker, a5, and this pawn is pinned. If I take, he'll take back the queen or the rook, the queen or the knight or the king, and yeah, so he plays b5, and you know, at this point I played rook f4, and the game's over. My opponent resigned. So that was my first game. Yeah, not much to review here. My opponent played a very tricky line. Sometimes people just forget about this pin. Yeah, so very natural move. You know, you're gonna get rid of the pin, but oops, you drop a pawn. So that's why this line is very nice for white. A lot of tricks in this opening. Yeah, so that's the first game. This is the first game. Nothing too serious went wrong. The second game, I played against a very strong player. He went on to win every other game that he played, but I was the only one that awarded him. I awarded him his only loss. He even managed to beat a title player. We had one title player during this event. He managed to beat him. Yeah, but I managed to give him a run for his money. And so we'll go through that game, and I think we'll go through the rest of the games because it's quite late. I don't want to make too much noise. My family's sleeping. And it's been a long day, right? And yeah, so let me just pull up the next game. Next game was against this one. The analysis. Let me add this one again. Yep, and this is the game. Let's add that. Yep, so this time I had the black pieces. And this person is a really strong player. Like when I first matriculated into my university, I had a chance to play it in the faculty games, and he was there. And he was such a strong attacking player that I got blown off the board. At the time I was like 1700 or 1800 blitz on chess.com. He was probably like 2000 at that point, 2000. Now he's around 2100, 2200. I'm not too sure his exact rating, but he's very strong. Yeah, so I was excited to get to play him. And he plays the advanced variation. I played the Caro-Kann against him, e4. e4, c6, d4, d5, e5. Yeah, bishop f5. He plays the bayonet. And we get into this position. And he plays the move e6. I play queen d6. He plays pawn takes f7, bishop takes f7. And he plays this move, 92. So this is one of his pet lines, I'm pretty sure, because I played the online qualifiers to participate in this tournament, and it was the exact same line I played against him. And I should have done my homework and found and studied a bit more of the theory. Just 2 more moves and I would have been safe from this opening. Found the first move, which is knight d7, and when he played bishop f4, I had the move e5, which I didn't play. e5, and let's say pawn takes or bishop g3. Bishop g3. I can take, and g5. Can I castle ever? I'm not sure whether I can castle, but yeah. So maybe a line looks like something like this. There's a good chance for me to review as well, some opening. So if I ever castle, would that be alright? It'll be alright, not too bad. So I guess g5, and let's see if instead of that we play pawn takes, knight takes, and it's hard to find a move, right? Queen c7, d4. You go queen c7 to go bishop d6. Very nice. d2, and knight f6 here. F to d7, protecting the knight again, and we should be able to castle very soon. If he castles, we castle short. Can I castle long? Oh, castling long is bad. I guess he told me one thing, which was castling long is always bad in these lines. Yeah, bishop g6, bishop h3. I can go bishop g6. Yeah, so this is a good chance to review some opening prep. But that didn't happen in the game I played. Played queen b4 check. Wow. Yeah, he played knight c3. I castled, and at this point, it's plus 1.6. He played the move a3. I took the pawn. If I didn't take the pawn, my queen would be trapped. Like anywhere I go, he's probably has this. Queen a6. There's like discovered attacks and stuff. Yeah, so I did not want to get into any of this at all. So I did not go for that. So I just took the pawn and I was like, okay, it's either I get mated or your king is a bit weak as well. So it'll be a fight. Rook b1, I play queen takes a3, rook a1, queen b4, he takes the pawn, and I had to play the move e5. If I don't, this is basically checkmate. e5, pawn takes, and I play bishop e6, blockading the pawn, but as you all know, the best piece to blockade is a knight. So that's one of the ideas I was looking out for, to try and get my knight to e6. He gave me a check. I went king c7, and he attacks my queen. Yeah, so I had to get my queen to safety. Almost every square is not safe, and there's no point going here. So I went queen b6. He develops his bishop, and he loses all his advantage in one move. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he might have went here first. I think the move order was wrong, but this is what essentially happened in the game. I played knight c6. He might have played knight d4 earlier, sorry, because this was from my pure memory, so the move order might be wrong. But this is what happened in game. I got to this position. He dropped like his bishop, and here I played like basically a move that ends the game. I played bishop e4. So let's roll back a bit. Let's see what happened here. He had a chance, I think. Okay. I remember trading this pawn, because that's like one of the things I remembered from yeah. So yeah, this happened. The one thing I remembered from a quick review of this line, like, because I know he plays the bayonet, so I quickly reviewed this line. I didn't go, but I just didn't go a bit deeper to find e5. I know that taking on g4 is good because it weakens the structure there and all my chances to attack on the on his weak pawns there. So I play knight h6, trying to hit the pawn. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to take because probably like this check is too deadly for me. So I developed my knight. It's been sitting on his home square for the whole game. So now I hit the pawn, and he plays the move. Knight d4, attacking my blockading piece. Thankfully, I have the move knight d7 to c5. He takes, I take. And if y'all know the rule, which is that the blockading piece should be a knight. The idea is that it can jump over like pawns, so it's always good to use a knight to blockade a passed pawn. And I play the move bishop b4, and it essentially lights out because the knight can move. I'm threatening a take, and you know his pieces look super uncoordinated. There's like no attack on me whatsoever. And he played the move. Queen d2. And here I took around 4 minutes trying to find a knockout blow. So I almost played the move d4 in this position. And if you guys want, you can pause the video, and or maybe you don't, but you maybe can find out why d4 doesn't work. Because it took me 2 minutes and 3 minutes, and I was about to play d4, and then I found a move that he could play, and I would have blundered away the game. Which is why it's important. There's always chances around. And so I actually considered a move like a king b8, which is the top engine's suggestion, because of this resource that white has. So the idea is that if I played d4, I just rook takes b4, and I can't take the rook because knight d5 is check, and it hits everything. So if I take, I just lose my queen, which is an incredible resource, and thankfully I saw it. Let me just promote this. Yeah, so instead I didn't play d4 because I thought it wouldn't work, so I played another move instead. And the moment I played rook f8, I was like, oh my god, he can play the same move. He can play rook takes b4. And I was so glad that he did not find rook takes b4. Instead he played the move rook f1, and I think after he played rook f1, he realized that. But he didn't think it was such a big blunder. I had to tell him after the game that I was essentially losing the game if he found rook takes b4, and because he thought it would open up some lines, but it's essentially over if he played rook takes b4. And I'm super unlucky, so now I realized my mistake. Quickly play bishop takes c3, queen takes c3, and I throw in this check, and I'm winning the rook on f1. Yeah. So he moves his king. If he went here, I can probably just it's more vulnerable, I think, because I can take, and you know, yeah. So I expected rook king d2. So I took the rook. He gave me this check, and I just go king d7, and there's no more checks. My king is very safe here. And he played the move rook b4. So at this point, there is a mate in 6. However, with my time troubles, and I didn't want to burn all my clock trying to find the mate, I started off with the correct first move at least, or like something close to it. I think I played actually I don't think I played the rook c1 check. I'm pretty sure I played rook d1. I mean queen d1. But this happened, and it essentially reaches the same position, but yeah, I had my queen on d1, I'm pretty sure. But anyways, I throw in this check to move the king to the only square it has, which is c3, and I trade off the queens. And at this point, yeah, I'm completely up a rook. Everything should be pretty easy. I drop this pawn, but thankfully my knight protects g7, and he has no counterplay. And at this point, the game ends. He didn't resign. We continued on playing, where I traded down to an endgame where I was rook and pawn. I mean, knight and pawn versus his lone king, and the pawn was a g pawn, and the g pawn, as you guys should know, is a pawn with like high winning chances, but it's guaranteed winning because I have a knight, extra knight. So yeah, knight and pawn, I won. Yeah, so I think the game went on a bit. He played something like I'm not sure what he played exactly. Probably like this. No, no. I don't think he played g5 directly. I think he might have played. I'm not too sure what he played actually. He probably played g5. That's the most logical move here at this point. I think he also played. Not too sure, but regardless of what he played, I think I played the move rook b3. He went to guard. I took with the pawn, and then I played here. I think this is the position we reached. And yeah, I think this is the position we went further. I traded off everything except the knight and the g pawn, and I went on to win the game. Yeah, so that's the end of my first two games. Yeah, I think for this game, the opening went okay. This opening is objectively better for black if I know the moves. I guess that's why it's good to go through your games, because now we know e5 is the solution in this position. If they go back, we take. Can play g5 and then knight h6, and we're just chilling. We can take this pawn, and life's very easy for us. We don't have to castle straight away. Yeah, so that's one thing we learned, and to always look out for tactics. So even at this point, I even though I'm +3, still managed to find tactics to come back. It's never over until it's actually over. +3, just play rook takes b4, and so I was very lucky that I didn't get hit with all this. And this was the end of the game. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the first two games. Yeah, this was like the first two games we played. I'm gonna go review the rest of the games another day, probably tomorrow if I have the time. I don't think I might have the time tomorrow. Yeah, but these were the games. My overall results were three wins, 4 losses. So I started the event off with 2 wins, and I was like super happy. And then I proceeded to lose 3 games in a row. Won one more, and then I lost the final round. And yeah, so emotions are tough this game, but I still really enjoy the tournament, and I'm really grateful to be able to play, and yeah, meet some of fellow chess fans at the tournament, because yeah, it's not common to be able to I don't really have a lot of friends that play chess, so it was nice seeing like a bunch of people just playing chess. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed like these 2 wins of mine. But I think it's more important to go through the losses, which I've already transcribed. I can like just quickly browse through them for all of y'all, and we'll go through the actual review tomorrow. This is a 30-minute video. I think it's long enough. So let's go this one. I played 1b3, and it was quite an embarrassing loss. Yeah, this was my position. I got a very nice position, and I just played this move rook c2, which blunders the whole game away. My idea was to just double the rooks, and I just put 3 pieces on the light squares when they have a light square bishop, and I have no way of stopping bishop c6 a4. Completely lost from this beautiful dominant position. Not dominant, I would say, but I had an isolated pawn. I was gonna go a4 a5, put the knight on c5. I just had a really I was gonna play a4 a5. I should have started with a4, so that like let's say he plays a move like yeah, like I don't even know what move. Let's say he plays a move like rook c8. then I wouldn't even have gone to that double rooks plan. And if he didn't, yeah. So this game was really bad. After this, I held on for a bit before I eventually just crumbled. And this game I played against the Candidate Master. I got into this position against the Candidate Master with the 1v3. I got basically what I wanted, a fighting game. All my pieces were still kept on the board. I had a hanging pawn structure, but yeah, I tried to keep my pieces on the board. Instead, he went here, and yeah, this was the position we had. I was really happy with what I got. And then I played this move, King F1, because my knight's having trouble getting back into the game. I think King H1 might be better. Or this completely lost. Okay, so maybe like it's a blessing in disguise. But what happened in this game was I played King F1. I was deciding between these two, and I thought maybe putting my king not on H1 where I could be hit by a lot of back rank checkmates. Closer to the action would be good as well. So I played this tricky idea, and here he was completely winning. I think like he's supposed to just take on H2, but he went for this, and this was the game I got against him. So this would have been most likely a draw, but I really liked my position because I had Queen A6, I had D6, I had a strong pawn on D6. This is what I went for, and he told me after the game that if I just keep my queen on the C file, the rook can't get back in. If he took, I got Queen C8, so he has to go closer. If I ever go Queen C8, he can defend in time. Yeah, so it would likely been a draw if this happened. Instead, I went for this one, and I proceeded to lose on time somewhere along here. Yeah, this was probably how the game turned out. It went for a lot longer. He took off pretty much all my pawns. I was taking his pawns. Yeah, so that was the game against the CM. Don't worry guys, I'm gonna go through like more in-depth review next time, but it's a bit late and I do want to rest. So this was my loss against in the Caro-Kann. I got mixed up in the opening. It was still okay, but I think I just blundered. Yeah, here I was thinking, okay, if I take, I got, here I got like whatever the engine's recommending, yeah, like this is completely fine for me. Instead instead of this, I went for this because my idea was that, oh, if he takes, he's gonna double his pawns and I can take back, and he's cooked. And this just loses to bishop takes d4. I didn't need to take f6, forking my pieces, so I tried to hold on for a bit, but this was completely hopeless. I just got completely dominated. It did not end this position, but it was basically like this. I just destroyed myself. So this was my third loss in a row, and in this game I managed to get a nice win. So it's also a Caro-Kann, a fantasy variation. My opponent decides to go for one of the least testing lines of the fantasy, and just gives me a extra pawn. So here this is the position. He goes bishop f5, which completely hangs a pawn. I was going to take it, which I probably should have, but I decided to hit him with a g6 first. So I took on f4, and here he's pinning me, so I try to get rid of the pin and also to avoid any checks. And here he played rook f1, and I was thinking, okay, if I retreat my knight, I'm probably going to lose because like the pin is too strong, and yeah, like it's a horrible position if I retreat. So I was thinking like, okay, there has to be something here in this position for me, some resource for me to win. And so I started looking, okay, knight takes e5, knight takes e5, and if he takes, I have a fork, right? So I'm not, it's not too bad for me, because if he takes, I take. take. Okay, at least I got two rooks versus a rook and two pieces. It's probably still bad, but then I realized actually I think I might be winning. Then I take c5. The idea is not to check. The idea is to take the rook, and the king is almost forced to take it back because yes, it can only go up or take. And so this is what happened in the game. So I saw king takes, and I was going to play f5. That was my whole grand idea. And suddenly I'm getting that piece, and my pawn on f7 is not compromised. Yeah, so you probably have to sacrifice, and it's still a draw. I saw this, but actually the engine suggests something more nefarious, which is quite crazy. Take your check, and now you take on f5. Then you take on this, and you can go like here probably, check, go here, and we have 3 versus 1 kingside majority. And it's +2. So I didn't see any of that. Instead what happened in the game was very unfortunate. My opponent just blundered. He took back the bishop instead. He was playing really fast. So I have knight d3 check. I win the rook. It's just a routine mop up at this point. Yep, and that's how I won the game. And on the final round, I played again a 1b3, and this game really hurt because once again, I got like this classic closed position that's very good for me, and I blunder bishop e4, another skewer causing me to lose the rook. My idea was like I wanted to push. I'm not sure whether this was fine. I think my rook was on d1 actually. So this is what happens when you're playing on memory. Yeah, so this was the game I got. Bear in mind this might be completely wrong. Like there might be a few moves off. Like my king might not be on f1 or like my bishop. But this was like as good as I can remember and try to replicate the game. But we got to a position like this, and you know, like I was holding pretty well because my opponent blundered this whole tactic. So he went for c6 I think, but I actually have this very nice move, knight g5, threatening to fork, and whatever he replies, like to defend or like move the king, I can just take this pawn. And suddenly like I'm not even worse. Of course I went on to lose the game with this final blunder here, where he went d5, and I completely just did not see that. I just completely did not see my knight was hanging. Yeah, so after this it went on for a few more moves, and I just gave up. Yeah. So that was the end of my tournament. I hope you guys enjoyed the games. I know I blitzed through the remaining 5 games and only really analyzed the first 2. And it's a lesson for me. I find it kind of hard to review the games I lost embarrassingly, but I'll try my best to analyze them tomorrow. Yeah. See y'all in my next video. Goodbye.